is up. So we have Enduro Tecumseh Pressure Washer. It doesn't start. Pulled on it, nothing. Has gas, doesn't smell horrible either, but I noticed when I was pulling on it, there's a little to no compression. So yeah, I'm going to check to see. We're going to look at the very first thing first, is the valves, because it is a OHV version. And then if we see one that's stuck, we'll continue on. If not, then we'll have to dig in a little deeper. Let's start with the easy things first and go from there. This is the plug. It's rusty, and the combustion chamber looks to be about the same. So I think before we do that, I'm going to put a little bit of oil, pull it over real quick, put this back in, and see if we can't just work the valve. Because I don't know if this has a gasket. I don't want to rip it. Let's just see if we can do that first. A little rag. Now, a little of this down there. There we go. Okay. Let's try the choke. Nope. Carb again. Okay. This side's just a bunch of Phillips, so we'll take those off real quick. It's an interesting little choke lever. This cable goes to like a throttle up front. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's only 2200 psi. Oh, there's one more. Just so you don't feel left out. So I don't think the valves were too much of a problem. I think the valves, let me see what I see. It's been opened before. So I think the person before thought there was a problem with the carb. And then tried to clean it, but didn't realize it was the valve. And just a little oil freed it up and just pointed over. Now we're in this predicament. I'm gonna take off that fuel line first. See, it's this type of nonsense that why Tecumseh went out of business. One side you can take off with a 3/8. Other side, the intake is too close. Ratchet won't fit in there. Okay. So I took off this piece from the actual arm. That way I can double check what hole that came out of. Okay, let's see what carnage we have in there. I had to cut off the line. Unfortunately, it was just too gooey. Yep. Yep, plug solid. Yeah. Oh, there's the other half of the broken one. I don't think that's going to be coming back anytime soon. I don't know if I have another one either. I also think the seat is bloated. So it happens when you feed your seats too much cheese. But reality of it being is that I think the person who took this off used carb cleaner, and then the carb cleaner swelled it up. The worrisome part is those gaskets in there. I mean, well, yes, I do have some. I prefer not to use them. Oh. I'm missing the top one. Showed this before, 670377. It's very useful for this type of thing. Now that thing is in there solid. Those definitely swollen. Well, let's take this one out and put this in the cleaner. It's usually, oh, there it is, okay. This port right here could also be a cause of a lot of problems, especially one that you can control the engine speed on. There we go. Put that right there. Put in the cleaner. Bring you back. It's all out. Now, a couple things. This is the gasket, the bulb gasket came out of it. That's going to go square in the trash. I was able to take out the rubber grommet. Let's see. At the bottom one. Put new ones in. We should be set. Now, a long time ago, I want to say like a year or two, I bought like 12 of these kits because they came in like a bundle. I never thought I'd go through them as fast as I did. Well, I guess it has been a year, but this is the last one, so we're going to have to order more. Now, when I ordered them, I probably would go through that many in about a year. 6 months, never mind. But in this kit comes a lot of useful things. We're going to need that. But you can use the needle. I generally don't. The part that is very useful is this seat. Sorry about the noise. I swear, as soon as I'm in the garage, everyone takes a sign to go outside. And then as soon as I close the garage, everyone's like, whoa, time to go inside. So put a little oil in there. I know it's red, but this is a Tecumseh seat. A lot of the Briggs are blue, red as well. But there we go. That's why this is so useful. It has a special tip for that exact reason. What's the difference? The new one's actually a little smaller. I'm not going to deal with that. So if you noticed before, the angle of the float was significantly higher than it should be. I'll explain. I'll wipe it off. I put this in the ultrasonic cleaner too because I don't want it to I want to see if it floats. Where did that needle just go? Did I just blow it off into oblivion? Probably blew it off into oblivion. Oh, no, it's right here, okay. So, this tab is adjustable, but if you look at it, it's really not too much of an angle. So there's really not too much of a reason to think that you would have to adjust it down more. So I bet when we put this pin in, that float is going to be pretty level. And that's generally where you want this, is to be level. There are some that aren't. I know this is a little dirty, but it's really hard to take that off without damaging it. It should be fine. Look at that. This is like a little gauge you can kind of put in there, and it should barely rest on it. And it is. If anything, it could potentially even go a little higher, but I think I'll leave it this way. Now, I've touched on this before. Oh no, is this a too small one? Probably. But you're going to want to, when you clean the jets, use one of these. Now, I'm not saying that you need to widen them or make them bigger or drill them out or anything. No, 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 no. In fact, I want you to find one that's too small, push it through, clean it out, and you'll notice it'll clean out a significant amount of debris, more than you would with just a wire brush. I'm sure there's people out there that can clean it up like no one's business with a wire bristle, but I'm not one of them. I don't like really the inconsistency of it. So you put that one in there. If you know that's too small, you go to the next size larger, do the same thing, and you can tell if you're drilling metal out. You don't want to do that. Let's test it. Okay, that works good. And that goes for the main as well as the idle, especially the idle. That is a very small hole. You also want to look and see if there's any holes in this. There wasn't. I might as well use the new gasket. These also have numbers on them. So if yours is really, really bad and you've kept a few from the previous projects, you can look just for that number. Like for instance, that says 166. It should be set. I'm not going to put that little cap on there. It's just, I mean, I'm sure it's useful. That's not the right one. Here we go. That's the right one. I'm sure it will be fine. Okay. So now I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to put some fuel in there. I did put a new fuel line in there as well while you were slacking. Oh no, I forgot the tube. The emulsion tube. And where was I? Oh yeah, I did put everything back in. Everything should be good. So I have no real doubts in my mind about that. So it just doesn't seem like it's really fitting too well. Looks pretty good now. Okay, now I'm gonna put it back on. Yes, I will torque it down a little too much. I understand that. I hope I can do this with both you and I here. Putting the throttle back on. You can't see that because it's off camera. Wait a minute, that's not where it goes. What am I doing? That's where it goes. Some of the bigger Tecumsehs, like on rototillers and whatnot, that's part of it. Okay. Yet again, I apologize for the noise. Well, we did have a storm. And everyone's needing to clean up after it, which I'm not against the fact, don't get me wrong. This is the breather. That hose goes all the way to the top to the valve cover. What the breather is, every time the engine goes through its motions, part of the compression will seep back into beneath the piston. And eventually the crankcase will just fill up with pressure and it will explode, or put so much pressure where it won't actually come back down. So this kind of relieves it. Even your cars have something like that. Pretty much just the design of a 4-cycle engine. No matter what size it is. In fact, I don't want to say overhead, but on fuel injected cars, in fact, if you have one, you should look into this. You should look and see if your intake valves are covered in sludge. Some cars don't really have a problem with that. Like some of them are even going both direct and the normal type, but others are not straight up. I think Mini Coopers, like the older one, well not old, but like when Mini Coopers were actually popular when they first came out, when that Italian movie came out, I think they have a lot of problems. BMW, stuff like that. I have a Mazda and I don't really have a problem with that, but I'm told that's pretty common. They adjusted for it, so I'm assuming most newer cars have adjusted for it as well, but okay, let's get it started. So a couple things. Check the oil. It's perfect. Put gas in there. It's good to go. Plug is new. The oil is brand new as well. I think they did a little diagnosing and just didn't get the valves, because there definitely is compression now when I pull on it. This works really well. I'll test the water. I mean, I'm sure if it doesn't work, I'll bring you back for a pump video, but right now I just want to get this running. That's the main purpose of this one. But let's give it a pull. Oh, also, little screw right here. I did put it back, as well as the fuel line. I forgot to put it in there when you were watching. I did it a few moments ago. Let's push you back. Choke. Okay, so works. Now you don't want to run too long without water connected to the pump, but it's not horrible to do what we just did. But I think that's about it. This one is simple. Sometimes the valve guides just get gunked up, or the valves get stuck, or whatever. Put a little oil down the cylinder. Sometimes it helps free it up, and that's exactly what happened. I think when we first started, there was no compression. They tried to fix it, didn't. Now it's on my table. So here we go. Okay, well, if you have a problem like this, leave a thumbs up. If this helped you, put a thumbs up. Leave a comment, and definitely subscribe.